going to share a piece that I wrote and was published just prior to the pandemic, where the question seemed to be, in a dystopian society, who will deserve to live? And the protagonist in this piece asked the same question. Okay. It's called To the Moon and Back. And I would sing a little bit of Nina, but I can't do that, so I'll move on. Okay. Mindy Box pressed her head to the cool glass of her family room window, listening to Lawrence moan. He suffered more from an archaic chemotherapy treatments than the skin cancer that left him with red, crusty sores on his scalp and arms. Her 3-year-old son's wheeze competed with the generator's whir, and someplace far off, not in her immediate vision, a siren alerted residents to stay inside due to high levels of carbon dioxide and other toxins. She couldn't completely blame the moon for her emotions or her circumstance. She was stuck with the most unpleasant of realities. Her family had been left behind on a dying planet. Mindy contemplated the great separation as she pushed her falling locks away from her slim face. She bent over to pick up books and toys as her family slept nearby in their shared bedroom. She and her husband Lawrence had done their best to create a sense of normalcy for their boys, Tucker 5 and Joseph 3, especially after their best friends relocated with the others to the new world. To keep them happy, the two often took the boys on local excursions, like floating at the Fly Zone or shooting sky hoops at the ESPN Dome. They frequented libraries where Tucker and Joseph marveled for hours at holographic histories that showed them a world they'd never known. No gray stuff in the air, Mommy? Tucker noticed. Why they have no mask? Joseph challenged, struggling with his short A. Single-family living was a thing of the past, so they shared a mansion-sized home with several other families, par for the course for PMHEs, post-moon habitation earthlings, who had been left behind after the Great Separation. Still, Mindy was thankful for her family's compartment, a one-bedroom suite. She had creatively divided their large bedroom into private areas for her and Lawrence, and for each of the boys. They had their own family room, bathroom, and kitchenette, unlike some other tenants in the building. Mindy walked to the kitchenette and poured a cup of mint tea, returning to her bedroom. Cup in hand, she quietly moved past her sleeping husband to a nearby window seat. Peering up at the smiling moon, Mindy sighed. Tonight it was full and luminous. To the naked eye, it showed no signs of its inhabitants. The moon tugged at her emotions, exacerbating her feelings from sad to depressed. Like now, Mindy felt more melancholy than the day she saw her best friend leave on the shuttle. She dug around in her housecoat pocket and pulled out a ticket stub, examining it in the moonlight like something had changed. "What are you doing?" Lawrence asked. Mindy turned to see a groggy Lawrence scratching between tufts of hair on his head. "What are you doing?" Mindy returned. "And why are you up?" She watched Lawrence crank himself from a fetal huddle to his entire 6'1" frame with a slight bent at the shoulders. He stretched. "My bones hurt," he said, rubbing his hip. "The pain woke me up." "Do you want some mint tea?" "No, thanks." He moved toward the door, leaning against the frame. "I see you're checking out that stub again, huh?" Mindy shrugged, her head bent to hide the shame she felt from being left behind. "This was degrading," she said, hoisting the lottery ticket stub. "Why weren't we good enough?" Thank you.